Hello there. So for this activity, the subject that we covered was surveillance or mass surveillance, and it's a very interesting but a very worrying subject. Um, we reviewed a lot of material from the two article journals that explained the situation vaguely. Also, there was the one that I personally enjoyed a lot was the John Oliver show, where he also explained in depth a lot of the issues that were going on, but in a very comedic way. I found it very interesting. Also, the interview with I'm gonna have to read the name because it's a very strange name, but the interview with the Stanford graduate, which is Kamath Palihapitiya. I don't know how you pronounce it, but anyway, all these materials that were very interesting, and they all review the same subject, which was the ethical, sometimes legal, and social issue that is surveillance. And the real problem comes from this. Supposedly, a lot of governments or institutions, they keep track and they watch people because they're supposedly looking for terrorism, or they're trying to avoid illegal activities, or they're trying to keep control so that everything goes smoothly, or that there isn't a lot of issues. The problem is that it doesn't necessarily end there. Like the extensions of the laws that they have, at least in the U.S., they're super vague, and it makes it so that you don't have to be a terrorist for people to be spying on you or having access to a lot of information that they should not have access to. And there is this question that says, which I actually wrote it down right here, which says, if I'm doing nothing, then I shouldn't worry that they're spying on me, or that they have a bunch of information. You're innocent, so technically you have nothing to worry about. But at the same time, if you're innocent and if you've done nothing, then why are they, you know, keeping track of what you're doing? If they have no reason to be meddling with your privacy if you haven't done anything. So that's kind of like the issue. And you haven't done anything, but they're looking over so that if it is that you do something, they can know about it. It's very complicated, but there is a lot of ethical issues related to this. And there's also, as we saw in the documentary, which is the social dilemma, and also the second one, which is terms and conditions may apply. This is also applied to when you browse the internet, when you browse social media. It's not just, that the government is spying on you. It's that absolutely everything that you do within the online world is being recorded. And not because they say, you specifically, Pablo Peon, we know what he's doing. You're just, a small part. You're just a small number in a huge database. But at the end of the day, they can see what you're doing. And that's very ethically concerning. So that's very complicated. But honestly, for me, I feel like all of these things that we reviewed are, um, worrying, and they are starting to get into the gray area when speaking of, ethical principles. But what's really interesting is what they're doing. That's within all these subjects were with a very Western point of view. If we look at places like China, no, 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 no. They take it to another level. There's actually, I have the number written down here. They have over 200 million cameras in China, and that is one camera per 7 people. And we're talking about Chinese people, which are the most abundant. Well, maybe not abundant. I feel like that has a negative connotation, but the population with the most people in the whole world. And in that population, for every one person, for every 7 people, there's one camera. And the way they do it is that they have facial recognition cameras, and they know absolutely everything about you. And everything in China is completely digital, from payments, from communication, transportation. Absolutely everything is digital. So they have access to all of that, and also they have mass surveillance cameras literally looking at everybody, and they can detect faces. So instead of just seeing, oh, there's a person there, walking doing that. It's they see your face, they detect it, and they know exactly what you're doing when you're doing it. And I feel like there, that is, it's not in the gray area. That's already in the black area. You know, it's just absolutely horrifying. And that's when the question starts. I mean, technically, yes, the government is doing that, to keep control to everything. But then, do we have liberty as human beings, or are we just small pieces where we are being controlled and we don't have a lot of freedom? And again, that's over there in in the eastern part of the world. But at the same time, that also poses the question, are we ever going to get to that point? Are because the technology already exists, so and perhaps not as exaggeratedly, tyrannical, I would say, but are we ever going to reach a technology, or are we ever going to reach to a point when we're going to have technology similar as the one that they have over there, where not only can they tell what we're doing online and our phone calls and everything, but physically they can keep track of us and have all of our information. I don't know. I feel like it's a very complex subject, but I personally don't believe it's so much of a threat because of what I said before. If you're not guilty, it doesn't matter. And it's not like these corporations or the government are looking at and saying, oh, that right there is Chuchito Lopez, and Chuchito Lopez, he likes to look at this kind of content, and oh, he made this transaction. They don't look at it in such depth. There's so many people to keep score of, keep account of. They only look at it like from a higher point of view, from big data, from the you're only one, you're like just a bunch of ones and zeros within a huge database. It's not what a person is doing specifically, but it's what people are doing in general. But okay, that's 7 minutes. No.